Okay, so this is actually going to be my second update for my Project 20 pan, and tomorrow it's actually going to be a month since my last update, so I have some pretty significant progress on the majority of these products, and I do have quite a few, a very large number that were finished off a month ago. So let me start first of all with the items that I was able to finish off since the last update. And by the way, I'll just go ahead and link the intro video and the first update down in the description box in case you wanted to go back and check them out and see what the products look like at the beginning or something. So I did have a couple that were used up last time, and I think it was these three right here. This primer from Murad, the Alginist Power Wrinkle Serum Moisturizer thing, and then this Lancome eyeliner. But there's quite a few products here in this Birchbox holder, so let me go through. I'm just going to pick them out at random and show you. So the first one right on top, this was so easy to finish. It had the smallest little dab right at the very bottom of it. This is my Maybelline Color Tattoo in Bad to the Bronze. This is such a pretty tone, and I'm very tempted to go and repurchase this, but that is what the inside of the container looks like there. It's completely cleared out, and you're gonna have to excuse my nails. I'm planning to paint my nails with some of the polishes that are in my Project Polish for 2017, but I wanted to film the intro video before I went ahead and used the polish, so just kind of ignore my nails at the moment. But this Maybelline Color Tattoo, the bronzy tones to it were just so pretty, and the way that the light hits it, if you just had it all over your lid as a one shadow, like one and done sort of thing, the light would catch, the lid portion, and then your crease would look like you had a darker color in there just from the different, the kind of dimension that's picked up with this when the light hits it. It's a really pretty color tattoo, and I definitely recommend this if you were in the market for picking up one or two of them. This is definitely one that I would recommend. Then I had a lip balm here. This is the Sephora Super Nourishing Lip Balm, and I did have markings on this one so you can actually see. I really like this product. It's all finished in there. That's all the way rolled up, and this part here looks like lip balm. That's just the plastic that holds it in there. That is where I was at the last update, and I was going to film a 2-week update 2 weeks ago, and that's what that mark right there is for, but you can ignore that because this is completely finished off at this point. So this one is done, and I think I might have 3 or 4 items that have a marking on there when I was going to film an update 2 weeks ago, but I just didn't get around to it with all the, holiday hustle and bustle. But next item is my NARS Laguna bronzer. This one was no surprise. I had the tiniest little amount left in there, so this one is completely finished off. Really happy that I got through this one, but I figured as much because, I had to repress it, and very, very, very tiny amount in here. This was pretty much a gimme product from the get-go. So anyway, NARS Laguna is off the list. Then I had the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black Mascara. This is what it looks like here. This was pretty, it was drying out, and it was kind of on its last leg at the beginning of the project, but this is just so not non-functional at this point. It's very flaky, it gets super clumpy, it takes forever to coat the lashes, so this one is finally dead. I'm tossing this one into the empties pile. And this one's been open for about 5 months now, I think, so I definitely don't want it around longer than that. Another eye product, this is the Clinique Chubby Stick Shadow Tint for Eyes. This is another one that had the mark on there when I was going to do that other update that I never got around to, so you can ignore that third mark on there. This is rolled up all the way. Like, roll it down, roll it all the way up. I could dig some of this out, but I just did not enjoy this product at all. You can see on there, that's where I was. That middle line right there is where I was a month ago, and I finished off from there all the way down in a month. So I was pretty pleased with the progress on this. I noticed that when I would put it on the eyes, even if I put a base down underneath it, it would slip around on the eyes. It's not very opaque. It's really sheer. You can't even build it up either, because if you try to layer it up, it'll just move the product that's down underneath. So this one struggled to get through, but really happy that it's out of the way. I don't have to mess with it anymore, and I really don't. I did not like this. If you've tried these before, let me know how you like them and the best ways to get them to work for you. And I could understand it if I had oily eyelids or something, but my eyelids, my skin in general is just dry. It's very dry, and I was really shocked that this one was moving around so much. I don't usually have that issue. I was so excited about this one. This is my Physicians Formula highlighter. I think I do have a photo at the 2 weeks ago at the 2-week mark when I was supposed to do the update, so I can show you what it looked like then, so it doesn't look like I used up an entire highlighter in the past month. I'll insert that right over here. But this is the inside of the pan. I'm so excited. This one took quite a while, like from start to finish, to get this all used up. But once I repressed it, it was incredibly thin in the pan, and the synthetic brush that I use one of the Real Techniques setting brushes, the small ones. I use that to apply it to my cheekbone area, and I did have to layer this. If you just put a little bit down, it's quite subtle, and then you can layer it up to be more noticeable, like the highlight that I have on today. But I'm really excited about this. I didn't know if I could finish this off by the end of the year, but I made it. I'm super stoked about this one. I do have this item here. It looks like there's still product in here, but there was a massive air bubble in here at the last update. So this mark on here, the second mark, that is not correct because of that huge massive air bubble. Like, I even squished it down, pushed it flat, tried to get everything out, so it looks like there's product in here. There is nothing in here. This guy is finished off entirely. So I don't know, I've used a couple of these in the past, and I think that it's a really nice base. I just have so many that I don't see the reasoning behind purchasing another one of these. Maybe after I go through a handful of my cream shadows, maybe I would pick this up after I use up the Painterly paint pot from MAC, but at the moment, happy to get this one moved out. Even though it's just a deluxe size sample, you use such a small amount that they do take quite a while to get out of the way. I'd say probably the past 3 weeks, I've been taking a little bit and putting it underneath the lash line, and that's helped me use up just a smidgen more of the product to get it out of the way, since it has been hanging around for a while. So I don't know, that's just a little tip that I've been using to use up a little bit more product if you want to kind of breeze through some of your primers. I have a lipstick here. This is the L'Oreal Color Riche lipstick in number 170, Cotton Pink, and there are the markings there. It's really hard to see, I'm sorry. This one is rolled up entirely. Can you see that okay? Maybe if I go like that, there you go. So no product in here whatsoever. I was at that second line at the last update, and it is completely used up. Like I said, I definitely don't want to be digging out the product on the inside of the tubes of the lipsticks unless it's one that I absolutely love and cannot live without, because I have so many that I want to get through this coming year. So I would much rather move on to another lipstick instead of messing around with what's on the inside of this one. And the final item that I finished off since the last, oh wait, there's two. So this is my Jordana pencil. This is the 12-hour Made to Last liquid eyeliner pencil in black point. These are $2.49 at Walgreens. Absolutely love these things. If your eyeliner, sometimes I've noticed that the Kat Von D tattoo liner, when I use it, it'll leave just the slightest bit of a sheen to my eyeliner when it dries. So to make it completely matte, I'll take this black pencil from Jordana and just run it right over the top of my liquid eyeliner. It just mattifies everything. It looks super jet black, and I like these. I really can't bring myself to go out and spend $20 on a black eyeliner when I know that these are at Walgreens for $2.50. So, you know, these ones go in my waterline super easily. They don't have too much transfer out of the waterline. I mean, by the end of the night, there's a little bit, but for the most part, these stay pretty nice in my waterline. And once they set on the upper lash line, after you have about 20-25 seconds, and then they'll set on the upper lash line right up here, and they won't budge. I really like the ones that are matte. I don't like the ones that they have that have shimmer in them. So there's that one. And then now the final one that I finished off since the last update is my Versace Yellow Diamond perfume. And that marking's kind of rubbed off a little bit. That's where I was at the intro. This was at the first update, and I used it all down to there in the past month. So you can see even at the 2-week mark, I only had a tiny, I was right up against the, you know, the bottom of the container there where the glass ends and the liquid begins. That's where I was at the 2-week mark, so it didn't take much at all to get through this. This is a winter perfume for me, a fall and winter. I do not like this in the summer or the springtime or any warmer months. This is a cold weather perfume for me. So that was it for what I finished in the past month. Let me go ahead and move over to the products that I'm still working on. Just a little reminder, I'm gonna call this project quits after I finish off 20 of these products, but let me move on to the other ones. I think I have everything here. If I forgot something, maybe I'll insert a photo if I remember, but I think I have everything here. I believe if I counted correctly, there are 13 items in total that are used up so far, but you know, like I mentioned at the beginning, 2 of those are eyeliners, and I'm including those as one. All of my eyeliners in this project are going to be counted as one product. So even though there's 13 over there, technically speaking, I only have 12 items counting as my 20 used up so far. So, first item, I have the Dior Dream Skin Capture Total. This is kind of like a primer serum moisturizer product. I was right here at the last update. I finished off that other primer that I was using, so I had a ton of progress, and I definitely think that I might be able to use this one entirely before the next update. So this one's looking pretty good. Then I have the L'Oreal Silky Sheer BB Face Lotion. This has SPF of 30. This is like a tinted sunscreen moisturizer. It's extremely liquidy, but I like this sometimes in like the winter or the summer. I can put it on my neck. It's super sheer. You can barely even see that it has any color. So let me show you. Super liquidy. And then when it goes on my skin, it looks so dark. It only comes in one color, but if you blend this out, it really just adds just the slightest hint of color, but you do get that high SPF on the neck area, and that's mostly what I'm after. Not so much like the tint. It does help if your foundation is a little bit dark or if you added too much bronzer, but after you blend this out, you can see my 2 hands. There's barely any change in the tone. It's very subtle. So I really like this product. I've used up one of these in the past, and I was right here at the last update, and I'm all the way down there. So this one for sure, without a doubt, will be used up before the next update. This one is tipped over like 3 times, but this is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This one is in NW10. I've had issues with this because I went down to my hometown for the holidays, and even though I've had a month to work on this, I should have had this finished. Generally speaking, I can finish a foundation, a liquid foundation, in a 3-month time span that has 1 fluid ounces to it. But this one, oh my goodness, it just, if it's dry, if my skin's not super moisturized, it looks horrific on the skin. It's very cakey. Even if I use my beauty blender to try and shear it out a little bit, it's still really heavy and thick looking on the skin, but that's where I was at the intro. That was at the first update. I really didn't use this very much at the beginning, and that is where I'm at currently. So you can see this one for sure, especially if I'm using my beauty blender, that absorbs up a lot of the foundation. So I'd much rather use like a brush or my fingers or something, but this is such a thick foundation. To me, this is a full coverage foundation with the foundations that I own. This is probably one of the most full coverage foundations, so I don't know. I'm gonna be using the Beauty Blender with this. I'll see if I can get this moved out in, you know, before 2 weeks time period. I have this little guy. This was standing upright and it got knocked over like 3 times before I started filming, but this is my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I just had my husband pop off the cap. I have a little video about how you do that. I will link that down in the description box because there was, when I filmed that video, there was only one video showing how to kind of pry the cap off the MAC Pro Longwear concealers, and it just was not working for me. So I had to come up with a completely different method, and I did, obviously. So I'll link that video down there in case you were in need of getting the cap off and the other methods aren't working for you. But actually these lines are kind of smudged. Let me remark these so you can actually see what's going on here. So I made them just a little darker. They're still kind of teeny. So I was there at the intro, second line was at the last update, and that is where I'm at currently. This is slightly deceiving because I cannot pump any more product out of here. So I'm going to take all the product that's in here and put it into a little teeny container and then just dip my finger into it. So it definitely moves a lot quicker that way when I'm using it in that sort of a way instead of using the pump. So I've been waiting for about 4 days now for my husband to get home to take the cap off, but I wanted to have him take that off before he leaves for a couple weeks again. So anyway, this was my concealer here in this project. I had another MAC product. Here is my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in Light Plus. And because I do have dry skin and I was down in that dry weather during the holidays in my hometown, I wasn't setting my face powder. So hopefully you can see there's not much of a change in this one. There's a little bit more pan showing, but normally speaking, if I was setting my face every single day with powder like I generally do, this would be finished without question. But I would say in the next 2 to 3 weeks I could probably have this used up, so I'm not too worried about this guy. It's moving along just fine for me. I have an eyebrow product here, and this thing is so surprising. I figured that I would be much further along than I am, but this is taking forever. It's a very hard, very stiff pencil in here. It takes a lot of work to get any color to show up on the brows or on the skin under the brows, but this is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power Universal Eyebrow Pencil in Universal Taupe, and even though I've had a month in between these last 2 markings, they almost look the same. There's just the slightest bit of difference. I wasn't using this every single day. I could have been, but some days I like to have, you know, my normal eyebrow routine going on, but this is where I'm at with the brow product at the moment. So this one's looking all right. I don't think this one's going to be one of the items that she finished off in this project, but I definitely think this one can be moved out before the end of the year for sure. Then there was a blush. This is my Tarte blush, the Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in Exposed. It's very powdery. That is what it looks like in there. I did hit the bottom of the pan, and I wish I would have been using this more. I've kind of been slacking a little bit lately. Some of the items I've been using every single day, and other ones I've just kind of been pushing it off and reaching for something else and dabbling in my makeup and just kind of playing around. So I could have worn this one more, but I'm perfectly fine with the progress that I have here. This will probably be one of the first items that's finished off in 2017, so I'm fine with that. But I did have to repress the blush in here. You can see there's a little bit of pan right there, and there's some over here, so it's looking pretty good. I would say 3 to 4 weeks, and this will probably be finished, I would say more around the 3-week mark, since it's pretty thin in this region through there. So I have two eyeshadows. This first one is from Clinique. This is the shadow in Nude Rose. It comes in this little duo thing. I have to be careful because when I traveled down to my hometown, this was in my makeup bag and somehow the blush came out of here. So anyway, that is where I'm at with my eyeshadow from Clinique. So I'm happy with this. It's a very soft shadow and I can toss this into the crease area as a transition shade or just as kind of like a guide, a basic guideline on where to put my other shadows, and it's a fantastic shadow. I'm considering purchasing that in the future at a much later date, but it's a really nice, soft, blendable, beautiful shadow. It's kind of like MAC's eyeshadow in Quarry, just a lighter version of that. I also had the Walking on Eggshells trio. I was just focusing on this pink shade down here, and you can see when I started, the shadow was right at the inner part of this black line here, but I'm out to here. So you can see there's a little bit of progress, not as much as I would have liked, but if you actually look at the shadow in here, there's not a ton of shadow left in there, so I don't think it'll take too much longer. I need to hustle because it's getting really gloomy and dark outside. I have some lip products. The first one is a lipstick. This is the Buxom full-on lipstick in the shade Sydney. I've talked about these before. On the bottom of them, if you pull out the little portion that shows you what shade it is, you have a little sharpener to always keep the tip pointed and sharp. But let me roll this up and show you what I'm working with on this one. This is one of my all-time favorite nude colored lipsticks. I've went through a couple of these in the past. So anyway, it's hard to see. I know that was at the intro first update, and this is where I'm at right now. So this one, no doubt it'll be finished in probably, I would say, in 3 or 4 days. This will be done and moved out of the way. I'm kind of sad. This is definitely one that I would add back onto my wish list in the future to repurchase. I also had a lip gloss. This is one of the mineralized glosses from MAC in Modern Romance, and I just knocked it over on accident. So most of it is settled down, but I was right there at the first update, intro first update, and this is where I'm at currently. I wish it wouldn't have tipped over, but you can see it was down further, so I am right here. This one for sure will be done by next time. I have an eyeliner here. This is my last eyeliner that I'm including with the other two to count as my one eyeliner in that category, but this is the Too Faced Perfect Eyes waterproof eyeliner. I love this thing. This one, I do really enjoy this one. This is probably my favorite high-end black liner for the waterline. I can use pretty much anything on the upper lash line and, make it work. But in the waterline, it's so hard to find something that's super jet black and opaque, goes in the waterline easily. It's a soft pencil, no glitter, and it doesn't budge, and it wears throughout the day. So this one is definitely one of my favorites. I don't have a ton left. This is where the plastic stops, right at the top of my nail there. So it'll probably be done by the end of the week. There is one last lipstick. This is my MAC lipstick. This came out of a holiday collection. This one's in the shade I Love Winter. This is a really pretty color. I had this in my 30 days of lipstick. Is that what it's called? Different lipstick a day, 30 days of lipstick, something like that. I'll link those videos down in the description box where I wore a different lipstick every day. I wore this in that for one of the days and I really liked it. So that is where I was at the intro first update, and this is where I'm at right now. So pretty good progress, and I would say with this being, I just have the tiniest little bit left in my Buxom lipstick, so I can move on to this one soon and focus all of my attention on this. So I think that this one might be able to be finished before the next update too, and if not, it's gonna be barely hanging on by a thread. So that is where I am and what I'm working with on my MAC lipstick. So I had a setting spray from Urban Decay. This is in the very old packaging, the All Nighter XL. I was there at the intro, first update, and currently I'm right there. So I have a Suave Touchable Finish hairspray. This is a very light hold hairspray, and I've been trying to use this as much as I can. I've been using it on my daughter. I think my husband used it once or twice. So that was where I was at last time, and I'm currently down to here. Now this is just a guesstimate. Obviously I can't see through the metal packaging, but I can shake it and I can feel it's really cold down here where the product is and not very cold up at the top. So I can kind of guesstimate where I'm at. It sounds, when I shake it, it sounds like it's right in this region here. So we'll see. I kind of wanted that one moved out before the end of 2016, but I'm fine with it hanging on for a month or two. The last item that's in this project is my Beehive Soap and Body Care Perfumed Lotion Bar. This one is in the fragrance Orange Patchouli. I'm trying to hurry. And let me put the cap back on so you can see. So I have to do this backwards. So this is where I was at the intro, first update, and this is where I'm at right now. I have that much product, so I'm thinking there's probably 3 weeks worth of product left in this. I don't mind. I mostly just use this on my arm from my elbow up to my shoulder because I have you know, tattoos in that region, and I really like this product on them. So anyway, that is where I'm at with all of my products so far. Sorry that this is kind of a delayed update, but that's everything. It's super dark. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.